Yeah.
You need to click that OK button up there.
We're good to start.
Well, welcome to the second day of this little meeting. I, Sandgren from HPC10, I'm going to do a quick tour, I hope, of what we have been doing since we started using EasyBuild. Bit of history, what we do today, some details, and then a little bit of what we're planning to do going forward. We started using EasyBuild back in 2016, just when we got our new cluster. We had then 2 architectures plus GPUs on that cluster. We got another architecture and more GPUs later on, and we also had the old pile driver cluster, sorry, bulldozer cluster, which also got pile driver cores later on. We started with HMNS as a module layout because we wanted to hide modules as much as possible for the users and make sure they can't load the wrong ones. Originally, we started with putting out that software stack on our Lustre file system because it was available. It worked well when we started testing, and then users came into the picture, and yeah, it started to get really slow and unusable. We were building with our own accounts, me and Lars. We ran into permission problems all the time, and since we were building straight off the nodes, we had problems with the operating system packages, which we had lots of development packages back then. In June 2019, we started looking at distributing this with CVMFS, mainly because of 2 reasons. We already ran CVMFS, since we were running software for production for the VLCG project, which were using it. And we have been talking to Compute Canada, said, hey, we use it, it's nice. So we started doing that, and responsiveness for using the software was much, much, much better. We started using a specific user for building, no permission problems. And we started isolating our builds from the operating system with containers early on. So the layout is that we have a CVMFS tree, which has top-level type of CPU, OS distro, and hardware-specific levels, like the example there. And we can, by that, use the full Optarch setup from EasyBuild, so we get good software. We have a node-specific link in a specific tree that points down into the correct CVMFS tree, part of the tree. And we also have some common directives with hooks, our own easy blocks and easy configs. The containers we use are as minimal as we can make them. My own containers do not include Perl, just to make things more interesting. Our production containers do include Perl because it's just so bloody annoying to forget it all the time. We have an NFS tree where the actual builds are done. So, and we then bind mount that over the CVMFS point, and thanks to that host-specific link, regardless of where we build, it will always be for the right architecture. And of course, we auto-enable NVIDIA and CUDA, and nowadays ROCm. So we get the really clean environment for building the software stack, and it's been a smooth ride, mostly. since then. We have a small module that basically sets things up, wrapping. That wrapper detects which operating system we're running on, so we can use the right container. And then inside that, inside that container, the run script points outside of the container for easier maintenance, and just loads the environment, sets up the rest of the parts, and after each build, it rebuilds the spider cache for the L1s. Did I miss something? No. Using --job and the batch system is not trivial all the time. For normal builds, it's not a problem, but when you do from PR downloads the easy config, and if you do not make sure it stays around, the subjobs will not have the easy config file to build from. So that's why we auto-detect from PR in the wrapper, and then it adds temp tier to specific share directory and also disable cleanup of temp tier. That's also useful for, what was it? There was a question in the channel couple of some week ago, or last week or something, about yet another thing that this will be helpful for. I can't remember which one it was.
Was disabling?
Yeah, no, the try flag. If you have these disable cleanup and temp tier set, then you can use job with try, because it copies and saves stuff in the way that it works. And actually, that --job works by accident or by pure luck. We thought it wouldn't, because our wrapper and container setup, but since that wrapper environment is still there when the job kicks off, it goes into our external wrapper and sets everything up with the container again. So out of the blue, it just worked.
Pure luck, by the way.
We didn't know that. That's why it's pure luck. Since we went over to CWMFS basically in the 1st of June 2019, we have built over 19,000 different modules. That's 10 builds per day, 365 days a year. Do that without EasyBuild. Initially, we've had 8 different hardware architecture with 5 GPU types, 5 different distro version combos. We have built over 1,000 different software packages. That's 1 package per working day for 5 years. That's not including different versions of this package. So that's another, and as you can see, 1% of this is EasyBuild. Right now, this week, or I think Monday, we are still at 9,000 active modules. We have 6 architectures with 4 GPU types. Last week of March, we ordered a new bunch of systems with yet another architecture and 2 different GPU models. Stacking up, which will run yet another operating system setup. And we're still at 1% of EasyBuild itself. All our setup is available on that GitHub. And I think it's fairly updated. I think I re-updated this before writing these slides again. Future plans. Easy is available, it's in production. Let's try and use it. Well, our plans has so far just been testing it and see if we can build the proprietary stuff on the side. And it turned out that Alan has been doing a really good work. That PR, still pending, makes this trivial. First thing, you have to set Easy up to do host injection, set up NVIDIA drives and stuff like that. Load that module and just build your software, and it works. It can also work for user-installed software on the side. And as of last week, we can also do, oh, sorry, that's later. Since we are using CVMFS, we are using CVMFS again for this. The host injection link in Easy is in CVMFS variant symlink, which means that it's configured defined where it is. So we just make it point to our tree. Not big a problem. Then when you want to install software, you set that environment variable, sorry. Load the module, build, and it's available, and the module tree works as it should. And since we are using CVMFS, we use containers here too, just more or less exactly the same setup, slightly modified for Easy. And as of last week, you can either do project installed software or user installed software, or both. You set that environment variable to point to where you want it, load the module, build. And the quirk here is that you have to load that module to use it, because it sets up module path. Or you have to explicitly do that yourself, which is awkward. No. There you go. But we like HMNS modules. Easy is flat. But since we can do module-only install path modules, this should work. Turned out to be not straight out of the box. But since the Easy stack is read-only and module only runs the sanity check, there was 2 problems, I think. And we also need to, of course, recreate the HMNS modules for the already installed Easy stack. And, well, that's what you have to do. Specify the naming scheme where the Easy stack is installed, where we want our modules to be installed. Specify another lock there, otherwise it will try to lock inside the Easy stack. And then we use the Easy stack part that is part of Easy to specify what to build, and that just runs nicely. The problem here is, yeah.
Just a stupid question. Why do you have to stop at the model step?
That I only want to do module only. But if I don't do that, it tries to do, yeah, it tries to change permission of stuff. I can't do that on the Easy stack. This is only for the pre-installed software. When I do it myself, I don't have to do any of this because we auto-grades.
That's actually a bug in module only. Okay.
Yeah. I know.
We should fix that.
Yeah. I said there were small problems. There were actually, when I did this, I found one package that needed a change in the sanity check part. There's an open PR for that still, because that requires changing something else too, I think. Yeah, whatever. And then there was a problem with yet another package that had some other bug causing problems for doing this, but it works. I haven't been able to test it as much as I wanted to, but that's about it. It works. Nice to have. Now we just need to start building stuff like VASP, MATLAB, and Amber, and whatever to fully test it, all of this.
So what's the plan long term you see with Easy? Are you going to use that as a base and keep building stuff on top? Or are you actively going to try and get more stuff into Easy that's at least open source stuff that can be there?
Oh, good question. The problem here is that our new hardware will arrive before I have time to fully utilize Easy.
Yeah.
So I'll have to do both EasyBuild normal standard way and also try to get this up and running. And it also slightly depends on what happens with the UHPC system in Linköping. If they are going to get forced to using this, then I will definitely kick this off at a higher speed, since they're going to need help doing this.
And because it makes life easier for your users who want to jump to the because they get the same environment essentially.
Exactly. It's also what I need to do here too is not only set up our stack on the side. I actually need two. I need our open source tree, and I need our private tree like VASP, MATLAB. I haven't figured out how we're going to do that yet, because I would really like the module expansion, the HMNS module path expansion to happen correctly in yet another step. My Windows stuff. But that's, so we will hopefully be able to spend more time getting stuff ready for Easy and use that. But
in general, the initial experience seems to be quite positive.
Yeah.
Did you mention what CPU targets you have in detail? You mentioned ARM. So you have ARM stuff already?
No. That's we set it up to be able to do that.
Yeah. Okay. So now
but
it's all.
We only have x86.
Yeah. And the new hardware is what, Genoa? Or
the
4C. Send for C, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's called the Bergamo.
Yeah. Okay.
We actually already have one rack, 31 nodes with dual 128 core nodes, but that's for the VLCG project only, and it runs only VLCG stuff. But so that I have been able to pre-build a piece of the stack for the new stuff already.
Okay.
Those machines are fast.
Yeah, they are.
But they consume lots.
Yeah.
Well, the setup we had was it can contain two PDU lists, for one to two 32 amp 3-phase outlets, and if you start running HPL on enough nodes, the fuses blows. Yeah.
And AMD GPUs you don't have yet?
Sorry?
AMD GPUs.
Yeah, we have one. We have one new node for compute and one for interactive use.
And that's just to prepare for what's coming in.
No, just because our boss, in his role as working at the CEST department, got funding for experimental stuff. So we have 2 dual A100 nodes and one dual MI100 node, and login nodes for that, and some.
Okay.
That's Sen3 based.
So just feeling the water, essentially.
Yeah. So the new stuff that will come contains 2 quad HGX H100 nodes and a bunch of L40S stuff. And then we're in the plan for buying even more stuff, but yeah, that's somebody else's money. Again, channeled through us.
Any questions for Åke before we switch over to York?
I just wanted to know if the slides would be available afterwards for you and for all. Perfect.
I can. Maybe a stupid questions for you have multiple architectures and use the minus jobs. How do you be sure that all the nodes basically are targeted correctly, or is it skew, or?
Did I write that down? No.
That's what the wrapper does.
No, I didn't write that down. No, but we have submit files that specifically targets a architecture. And when we need the GPU ones, we just add on as a command option that GPU, please. And it just goes off. And the problem here is getting all that environment repeated in the job stuff. So it has to set up SBatch environment variables inside that submit files. Yeah.
All right. Any more questions?
Yeah. The submit files are there too.
All the stuff is
The complete setup.
Oh.
They might be missing some minor change I made last week or something like that.
Yeah, there's a question in Zoom, or? Thomas is mentioning for the new system, starting with easy would be an interesting case. Yeah. Yeah, like you mentioned, there may be.
Yeah, we'll probably need to do, but the problem here is going to be switching users over.
Yeah.
Since currently we want the HMS modules, and that requires slightly different setup. But since we're going to change operating system and create new login nodes, the problem is this: the cluster will still be called the same thing. It just contains multiple parts.
Yeah.
So we will be running 3 different operating systems on the same cluster with 1, 2, 3, 4 different hardware architectures, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different GPUs or something like that. It's a mess, and we will have lots of things to do with the submit plugin filter stuff before that's actually working.
It's definitely our intention in the long term to, I mean, in Easy, we're now only using the flat naming scheme, but we'll actually do both at some point. And you'll be able to pick which one you want. Yeah. So all the homework you're doing now to regenerate those modules, you won't need to do that anymore for the hierarchical tree. Yeah.
Right now, I do.
You're just ahead of what we intend to do, but that's fine.
It's always the case.
Yeah.
Remember that first meeting?
Back in Finland, or? Yeah.
That was a fun couple of hours.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Thank you, Åke. We'll switch over to York.
Let's buy coffee.